Picking up my tea from the kitchen. This is John Ashworth, otherwise known as the Fitness Nomad, coming to you live from the Nomad news desk. I'm in the middle of this big report, how to get your gut. There's a lot of good strategies out there for how you too can have a giant, well-rounded, massive gut, which leads to early death and unwanted and unpleasant things over the course of the rest of your life. This series is devoted to pointing out what those things actually are. And actually, I've been lying to you. Here's why. Hold on a second, I need a sip of my tea. I've been calling it a 5-part series because I thought there were only 5 parts. I never turned the page. There are actually 8 parts to this series, and there's some good stuff coming up next. Today we're covering part 5 of how to get a gut. Eat out more often. Before we get into that, let me just review, for those of you that may not have seen the first 4 parts. Strategy number 1, don't bother to get up. Don't exercise. Don't move throughout your day. I just did that, in fact. I was here working on a couple of different blog posts for about an hour. Time to get up after that. Got up, moved around a little bit, did a few stretches. Now I'm back at the desk running the report. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not enough exercise for today, but at least I got up. Number 2, keep eating as much as you ate in your 20s. Especially right now, summertime, barbecues, parties, lots of garbage out there to eat. And if you're looking to build that gut, just keep eating like you ate in your 20s. Number 3, bump up your calories per bite. So in other words, keep snacking on all of those empty calories. Potato chips, cake, pastries, as I've said before, pretzels, my nemesis. I love pretzels. I've been doing a better job recently though, so I'm happy to report that. But all of those empty calories, they add up and they really don't help make you feel full. So it's a really good way to keep building that gut. Number 4 is a big one, drink your calories. So too much juice, too many of those fancy lattes at Starbucks, sugar, soda. Number 5, we're talking about eat out more often. Now there's something I want to point out about this right off the bat. Because again, one of the challenges for me as the coach is people misinterpret what I say all the time, and that's okay, because you know what? Communication is the response that you get, which means that if someone's misinterpreting, I may not be, at least in that person's case, communicating clearly enough. And so what I'm not saying today is that you should never eat out again. I eat out with my family 3 to 4 times a month. So let's say it's an average of once a week. I still make smart choices when I'm out, but I still like to go out. So I'm not saying that you can never go out, but as I point out some of these statistics in today's piece, you're going to see what happens when you're relying on eating out all the time. I like this statement that they started with in this part of the article. Why dine in when you can go out or get takeout? It's less work and it's usually less boring. It's also a great way to get a gut. And I just wanted to make a brief comment on the boring part. I just filmed a series of cooking demonstrations with guest chef Valerie, and because she's doing what I think everybody should be doing in their kitchen, which is having fun, creating. It's about creation. It's about becoming an artist in your. Why is it so inconvenient to nourish yourself? That's an important question to ask yourself. And the French would say, dinner is not something you do in the evening, it is the evening. We all have to feed ourselves, we all have to nourish ourselves. Coming together in the kitchen around the preparation, the meal itself, and the cleanup is a great opportunity for you to be with your significant other, with your spouse, or whoever else you spend time with in the kitchen. That's my 2 cents on the fact that I don't consider it boring. And actually, I just prefer not to feel sick all the time when I'm eating out. Even when we do go out, it is so hard to go out and order things that don't have so much sodium and fat in them that I've really gotten to the point now where unless I'm going to a really, really nice restaurant or Hubbard Avenue Diner, which is our all-time favorite as a family because I can get a nice tuna gyro there, I feel crappy when I go and eat out. Once you connect with that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Researcher Susan Roberts, she's at Tufts University, and we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the research that she's done. foods eaten away from the home jumped from 18% in the late 1970s to 34% of calories in 1995. I mean, just think about that. So a third of the calories people are eating are coming from outside sources. Now, that's also, interestingly enough, roughly the same period during which obesity rates took off in this country. Duh. Going out and eating and overeating on a regular basis is bad for your health. But again, we're trying to build a gut here, so it's perfect. In one of our studies, people who ate out 13 times a month, so I'm going to do this now because I think this is a good barometer. Like I said, it's not like I never go out to eat. If you control it, you can still go out and enjoy it. So here's how what you can use as a barometer. In one of Robert's studies, people who ate out at least 13 times a month consumed nearly 32% more calories per day than people who ate out no more than 4 times a month. So the people who ate out at least 13 times a month consumed nearly 32% more calories than people who go out about as often as I do, once a week. All right, 13 times a month, do the math, it's 3 times a week. And I know there are many of you that are going out much more often than that. And I can hear you saying now, I'm busy, I don't have time, I travel. I carry a cooler with me every day for one very specific reason, so that I always have food that I can eat and I never have to rely on, the choices that are around me, which are almost never good. So, keep that in mind. The people who ate out at least 13 times a month consume nearly 32% more calories. So just take a mental note right now of how often you're going out right now to eat, and let me challenge you. See if you can cut it in half. I know that's pretty drastic, but see if you can cut it in half. And look for more cooking demos on the Be a Fitness Nomad website, more demonstrations of how to build weekly meal plans. It was some of what Valerie and I talked about, our guest chef. She's doing some really cool things with how she works to build a weekly meal plan, which I think will be really helpful for you. Okay, a couple more important points to make about eating out. Those huge portions that they typically serve when you're out, the problem with those is it warps your sense of how much is enough. So if you're eating out all the time and you're trying to base what you're eating at other times on the serving sizes that you're getting, it's just going to warp that whole sense of what's going on. Let me give you a quick personal example. I was at a barbecue at a neighbor's house about a month ago, and sure enough, he had been to Costco and he had bought these half-pound burger patties. A half a pound. Now here's the problem. A half a pound is like, 8 ounces of meat. It's way too much for a burger, but by the time you get that thing on the burger and you get going and you're talking, you don't even realize it. So again, warping that sense of how much is enough is a real problem. The other problem with eating out is restaurants offer a lot of variety, and of course that's one of the great things about going out to eat, is that you get to choose from a variety of different things, which all generally tastes pretty good, at least going down. And so as a result of that, you're trying lots more than you would otherwise, and as a result, you consume more calories. So again, not a problem if you're not going out to eat all the time, but if you're out 3 times a week doing that, bingo. Okay, so remember, don't misinterpret me. I'm not saying you can never go out to eat. Up to 4 times a month, make smart choices while you're out. Be sure to check the Fitness Nomad nutrition book on the inside of the Fitness Nomad membership site. I've got inside that book a number of strategies that you can use while you're eating out so you can make good, smart, healthy choices, go out and enjoy yourself. And remember, cooking is fun. This is John Ashworth, the Fitness Nomad.